Right, what I wanted to explain was this knockdown situation that we had the other day, and I'm going to try and show you sort of what happened. So we're currently sailing along on what's it called? Starboard tack. So we're in exactly the same position as we were when this happened. So I'm going to just show you what the sails look like. Move to the back of the boat. So the sails are over on the port side. Now to show you the position of the boat on its sort of heeling side. So all boats heel, they're meant to go over on their sides to some extent. That's how they're shaped, that's how they work. So you can see that this side is a lot lower to the water than this side. You can't see the water as well. You can see the horizon over the side of the boat. There you can see how the boat's heeled over. So as the wind blows stronger and stronger, and we've currently got 14 on here, you can see how this rail, this piece here, right in front of me, this piece here is nearer the water. So what happened the other day, we were sailing along like this, and the wind was a lot stronger. It was 20 knots. But then all of a sudden there was a huge gust of wind which made this rail here, this tow rail here, go into the water. So the whole boat tipped right over like this. And that is what happened. And the reason why we lost the canvas on this section here is because that was then underwater, and obviously the force of the water ripped all the canvas. So the moment that happened and the boat went like right over on its side, out of control, what we then had to do was the following. Stuart was sat here, I was sat here. So the first thing we did in order to right the boat and take the power out of the sails, which were completely overpowered by the wind, is release the main sheet. Now this is the main sheet. So what Stuart did was just basically, we'd had this ready prepared because we knew we do that as a security measure when we know that it's going to be nasty. So we basically whip this off like this and let the mainsail out. So right, so Stuart's going to let the mainsail out, which is taking that red rope off that winch. And this is what happens to the mainsail. So he's letting it right out to the side. Okay, so he's let that mainsail right out. So that's what we did the other day. So I've tried to demonstrate what happened in terms of what happened to the boat and then what we had to do to fix it. The bit that I've not described yet is what the conditions were like at that point in time, because it all looks very nice on a nice sunny day like today while I'm showing you, but that was not the conditions that this happened in. So I'm just going to hand you over to Stuart, who will describe this.
So you need to picture it was 1:30 in the morning. There was clouds in the sky, no moon, so it was pitch black. We were travelling along at 10 knots, so from a sailing point of view it is ultra fast. So we stream along at 10 knots, and then we could see the storm clouds come over, and what the storm clouds looked like this particular night was total blackness, so complete blackness. So we couldn't see anything, couldn't see the sea, couldn't see the sky, it was in complete blackness. So we're travelling along at 10 knots, ultra fast on a sailboat like this, and then all of a sudden we were hit by the gust of wind, and the wind flattened the boat so the sail nearly touched the water. and the edge of the boat, which Helen was referring to, was completely submerged. But from a physical point of view, the other thing that happened is the boat went from sailing along at 10 knots to stopping. It's like having an emergency stop in your car and your head bashes against the dashboard. So all of the actions which Helen described happened in an instant. So we had to release the main sheet to take the power up the sails.
Or get the torch out, didn't we? We had to get the torch out so we could see what to do.
We couldn't see anything, so we had to get the torch out. So when you release a rope under tension in a sailboat, the ropes, the sheets lash around. So we're in this snake pit in the dark with the ropes lashing around, sails flaying and flogging. And then the next thing we had to do is release the foresail. So once you release the foresail, it doesn't have a boom. So the foresail is like a massive sheet blowing in the wind, in 35, 40 knots of wind. So it is literally playing around. And if you don't sort it out, the sails will completely rip and demolish within seconds.
And the ropes smash into stuff as well, don't they? The ropes cause damage.
Yeah, the ropes are bashing into the spray hood, bashing into us. And we can't see this because it's in complete and utter darkness. So we have to get the boat stabilised very, very quickly. And again, I can't emphasise enough the sequence of events. It all happened in seconds, probably 15, 20 seconds. And even once we got control of the boat again, the boat had been flung around in the wind, so we completely lost the orientation and the direction of travel that we're travelling. So we had to put the boat back on course, put the engine on, and we pointed the boat into the wind to have the least amount of resistance to the wind, so the wind had the least effect. It was still blowing 35 knots, but it was on our nose. And then gradually the storm passed over, and the conditions improved, and then we motored for a couple of hours, and eventually got into port and dropped anchor.
The other thing as well that I just wanted to mention is when that happened, the downstairs, because normally when you're going on a passage you stash everything so that it's not going to fall off, but because this was an abnormal manoeuvre, almost everything shot out of its places. So all of a sudden, there's a shit at the fan on the deck, but also down below, everything just went everywhere. But you can't even attempt to go and sort that out. So you just have to leave that shit everywhere. All the cushions come off, so we had to throw all those down below so that we didn't lose them. But you just have to focus on stabilising the boat and never mind what's smashed or broken or anything. You can't do anything about it at that point in time. So despite you hearing stuff, in the crystal cabinet and what have you, forget it. Just forget it until everything's sorted out. And the good news is nothing was broken in the crystal cabinet. Only a stopper had come off the Navy Strength rum, ready to be drank later. So we were really fortunate that nothing got broken apart from this piece of canvas. Any final comments, Stuart?
Yeah, just another couple of points. All this happened just off the coast of Sicily, probably 20 miles away from where the Beresian boat sank a few days ago. So that obviously haunted us. Another couple of points as well. The probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes before were hit by the storm, we got an alarm from the electrical system. The domestic batteries were running out of voltage. So my worry at that point of time, and again, strong winds, big seas, was that our domestic battery would fail, and that would have resulted in the lights going off, the chart plotter going off, the winches failing, so we'd have had no power whatsoever. Anyway, I resolved that. And a learning point which after the event happened that came out in the discussion is when we are out to sea offshore, it is absolutely critical that we close the hatches. When the boat was flattened against the water, the hatches on the side were very close to being at sea level. and it wouldn't have taken much for the boat to tilt a little bit further for water to be ingressed into the hatches. So the learning point is make sure when you're offshore or out at sea, regardless, keep your hatches closed.